This is my 1981 Pontiac Firebird that I got for free for fixing a fuel leak on another car. Went up to Benton City, Washington, rescued it out of a field, brought it home, and got straight to work. And I got big plans for it. I plan to make it look like this.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange.
All right, let's get into it. All right, so we got the Firebird pulled outside. I'm gonna work on getting the fender taken off so I can get it all cleaned up in the engine bay. This is not the engine that's gonna stay in it. If you've been following the series, you'll know that I plan to put a LS in it, but I wanna get the engine bay and stuff all cleaned up as much as I can for now, get the wheel wells cleaned up and sprayed, and the core support and everything, so it looks all nice. And then we can work on getting the other fenders and the front end fit up. So let's get this fender off here. All right, so it's the next day. Everything's nice and dry. I'm going to bring in here and show you what I found. When I removed the fender, I was able to see that somebody in the past had cut a big hole in the wheel well here so that they can get the blower motor out because they didn't want to take all this apart. So anyways, they cut this big chunk out, and then they used a piece of plastic to reattach it to plug the hole, basically, as well as this little extension that goes from here down is pretty rusted out from the battery. As well as I pulled out the battery tray, which is right here. You can see it looks pretty bad as well. So I'm going to get a battery tray ordered up, a wheel well, and that little extension piece, get those ordered up, but we're going to get those removed. The radiator core support looks fine, just needs to be cleaned up and get it shot with some zero rust so it looks good. And then the cross member for the lower radiator core support there. And then the passenger side wheel well looks good, just needs to be taken off, cleaned up, and get it shot and everything. So everything looks real nice, but let's get started pulling this wheel well liner off on this side, and then we'll move over here and we'll get the engine bay all cleaned up. All right, so I got the wheel well off. Now I'm going to come in here and get these AC lines and stuff all removed because I want to get the core support all cleaned up. Right now they're in the way. So let's get these off here. I believe I'm just going to disconnect them right here, the back of the pump, and then over here. And I'm going to leave it all attached to the condenser so I can remove that. So I'll have to remove the center support right here, and then we can take it all off and have it be all together. So. All right, so I've got the wheel wells and stuff taken off, and after more consideration on the radiator core support, because of the battery, it made the back of the core support look like this. It's still solid, but I want that to look nice, so I think I'm going to go ahead and order up a new radiator core support. I mean, you can see this one's, you know, fairly rusty and scaly, but I mean, it's not falling apart or anything, but I want it to look really nice, so I think I'm going to go ahead and order a new one up. The wheel well on the driver's side is still perfectly fine. I'm going to clean that up and see how good it looks but I might just end up ordering one of those as well. It's only $165 for a new one, and I have to order one for the passenger side anyway. So anyways, now we're at the point where we can actually start getting the doors mounted back up, or the door anyway, so I can get the new Trans Am fenders mounted up and see how they fit, and then get the 73 front nose on there. And on the last video, I ended with pulling the doors off, and I said I was going to rebuild the hinges, and I went to rebuild one, and one of the bushings had to be tapped in, and the other one literally just fell right in, and it wasn't you know, gonna fit because it was you know, wallered out the hole and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'll just order some brand new ones that will actually have the roller on the door as well, so that the catch will actually work properly, and I don't have to worry about replacing that too. So I went ahead and ordered up some brand new hinges. So we got brand new hinges to put the doors on. So let's get this door on here, and then we can work on getting the front end mocked up. All right, let's do it. All right, so I got the door mounted up, and it came out really good. It got a nice and even gap from the top all the way to the bottom. The catch here is a little worn out, so when it's closed, the bottom, you know, isn't super tight. But once I get the new door catch, that'll hold that tighter. So closes nice though. So now we can get this fender fitted up, get that gap right. So let's get this fender on, and then the other side. All right, let's do it. All right, so we got this fender mocked up a little bit, and got the gap nice and perfect all the way down. Same thickness on the door. So anyways, let's move over to the other side. I'm actually going to, rather than removing this door over here, I'm going to try just changing out one door hinge at a time, so that way it stays in the same position. I can hopefully unbolt this and get it in place. I don't know if I'll be able to, because I don't think I'll be able to get to this bolt and get it loosened up, but we will see what we can do. Maybe I can do the bottom one first, because I can get all those, and after that one's done, I can open up the door. Actually, what I'll do, I'll open up the door, I'll take this one that will be hard to get to out, and the other ones will hold it in place, and I'll close the door, and then I'll be able to take those ones out. So that way I can actually do the hinges without removing the door. So anyways, I think that'll be easier. So let's do that real quick. All right, so I had to change my plan because of the way that the hinge is set up, and the position that's on the stop. It can't really be moved, and it's not set for, oops, wrong way. It's not set for going exactly like it is right now. So I'm gonna have no choice but to do the bottom one first, get it completely tightened up and everything, and then put the lift on the bottom here, so that it'll support it, and then open the door to match the position of the hinge, and hopefully it won't move at that point, and then I can close it, make sure everything's good, and then fine tune it if need be. So that's why I changed what I was gonna do. So anyways, let's get this lower hinge on here, and then we'll work on getting this upper one on. All right, so I finished getting this fender on. I got a little excited after I got done doing the door hinges. I went right into the fender and didn't film anything afterwards. But anyway, the door works perfectly now. The door lines up and everything. The hinges work good, and the latch is perfect. So anyways, now we can finally move on to doing the 73 front nose. I need to finish getting the hardware cleaned up. I've already cleaned up the brackets and painted them, shot them with some Zero Rust. So I just need to get the bolts and stuff cleaned up, and then I can start getting this thing mocked up. So all right, let's do it. All right, so got the bumper brackets mounted up, so now we can get the bumper set in there and see how well it fits. So let's get it on there.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
All right, so I got the front bumper and the lower valance on, and it came out pretty good. You can see this side, nice clean gap all the way down. But over here on the passenger side, or the driver's side, I couldn't really tell, but this fender has obviously been hit because, you know, there's quite a gap here, and it doesn't line up perfectly. I mean, if I push back on it, it gets better, but this fender is going to need a little bit of body work to get that to line up. But other than that, it actually looks pretty good. So just need to do some fine tuning on the front of that fender so it fits a lot better. But you can see this side, like I said, fits really nice. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with it, but I am going to have to do some stuff with that fender. So if I can't get it to be just right, I'm going to have to find another one, but I think I can get this one to come out right. As you can see, it also is pushed in right here a little bit, so it doesn't take up that little flare right there to match up with the line of the bumper. So anyway, that'll need some fine tuning, but you know, I can push out on it. It can get pretty close just pushing out on it. So I think doing a little bit of body work on it and then a little bit more adjusting, that'll come out just right. So anyways, that's all I'm gonna do for the night. So we'll see you guys in just a second. All right, so I lied. I couldn't deal with the fact that there was a gap over there. So I went ahead and pulled off the Trans Am fender and put on the fender that was on it. And you can see now it's a perfect line or whatever. It's way better, just like this side here is. So I got a question for you guys. Here's the rendering of it with the Trans Am fenders.
And finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you
And here's the rendering of it without the Trans Am fenders.
hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
So you guys tell me, should I go with the Trans Am fenders with the black scoops on the side or the non-Trans Am fenders? Put it in the comments down below and we'll see which one wins. All right, so now I'm done for the night. We'll see you guys in a second. All right, so it's the next day. So I can't do the hood because I don't have it. It's on back order for about another month, as well as the lower chin spoiler and the front fender flares there. They're also on back order for about a month and a half. But I can move into doing the rear fender flares. I need to get the holes drilled for those so I can get those mounted up because it didn't have those from the factory on this one. So let's move into that. And I also am not going to mount up the grills and the headlight bezels and buckets and stuff because I still have to do body work on this bumper here. There's a little chip out of it there, and then over on this side there's a crack in it and stuff which needs to be body worked, and I don't need it to be extra heavy for doing all that. So anyway, all right, well, let's move into getting those rear fender flares mounted up so that those holes are there so we don't have to worry about that. So all right, let's do it. Nice, looks good. This piece of trim, aluminum trim, is just toast, so it's garbage now. Okay, so for these rear flares, the hardware that's on here is actually a molded part of it, so I can't actually unscrew them to be able to do like what I did on the wing, but I'll still be able to get it pushed up into place. It'll push this back and misalign the bolts, but I'll at least be able to get it exactly where it's at. I'll have a piece of tape along here, and while I have it there, I can draw a line, and then I can do the same thing, measure how far in the bolts are and stuff, and be able to drill the holes out in the right spot. So let's get this in place, get the tape on there and get it marked, and then we can get the holes drilled. Okay, so I got the holes drilled. Now you come in here and you take off this little vent right here, which gives you access to reach down there and get the hardware on the back. So let's get that off there and get this thing mounted up and see how well it fits. All right, so I got this rear flare mounted up and it came out really freaking good. Fits really tight to the body, so I won't even need to use any of the welting, which is good because the welting that came with it was gray, and I don't want it to be gray, and I don't have to paint the welting, but I'll be painting the wheel well black so you won't see any of the white inside there. And then it's got a couple of screws down here. Came out really good, mounts nice and tight to the body. So anyways, let's move on to doing the other side. All right, so we got this one all finished up and it fits up really nice too. So now let's move on to something else. All right, so now we're gonna move on to getting the engine bay and stuff all cleaned up. So if anybody is interested in buying this engine, you guys have seen it run already on the channel. I am gonna be selling it because I plan on putting an LS in here. So I'm gonna do a little bit of, you know, working backwards now. I just wanted to get the bumper and the fenders on there to make sure everything lined up good. So now I'm going to be pulling the fenders and the front bumper off so that I can get the front radiator core support out and everything and work my way back so I can get it all completely empty so I can get the engine bay all cleaned up and sprayed and looking nice. So, all right, let's get this thing taken apart. All right, so I got all the front end taken apart and stuff. I left the bumper brackets on there because they're already set for exactly where the bumper needs to be. And I was able to just take the core support off and go around it without having to undo those. So I won't have to fine tune those and get those set just right again. So anyway, I'm gonna be done for the night because it's getting too dark out here to film. Probably got maybe 20 minutes of daylight left. So tomorrow when we get back at it, we'll get this engine unhooked and get it pulled out of here. All right, we'll see you in a second. All right, so it's the next day. I got a lot to do today. I wanna get the engine and transmission completely out of the car. That way I can get the frame rails and the firewall all pressure washed up where I haven't been able to get yet. So I can get that all cleaned up, hopefully get it dry so I can get it shot with some zero rust today. I also want to get the AC box completely removed because I'm deleting the AC. because I don't need AC in it. And then all of the seam sealer that's along the top here, I want to get all that ground back so I can re-seam seal that, and then get the entire firewall and all that shot with some zero rust. I'm not going to worry too much about the control arms and stuff, because I do want to replace those. I want to get tubular control arms for it. So I really need you guys' help to subscribe to this video. On the last one, I had 98% of my viewers weren't subscribed. This last video, the numbers came down to 86%, so a lot of you did subscribe. Thank you very much. But I'd like to get some tubular control arms, and those aren't very cheap. So if I can get a lot more people to subscribe, get the video to push out, and get the algorithm to help me get more views and stuff, I'll be able to make more money off the video, so I can afford to get those. So anyways, let's jump into it. I got to get this thing up on jack stand so that I can get it all unhooked. So all right, let's do it. All right, so I got it up on jack stands. The first order of business is going to be get the drive line out and get the transmission drained. So let's do that. All right, so we got the transmission all unhooked. Now we're going to move on to unhooking everything in the engine bay so we can get everything out of here. So let's start unhooking everything. I'm going to be tagging it as I take it off, just so I know what everything goes to. So anyways, all right, let's get this thing out of here. All right, whew, man, it is hot out here. Anyway, I got everything unhooked on the engine. Now I need to go over and get the cherry picker, which is all the way over there by my 67 Coronet. So I got to get that thing over here, and we can get this thing hooked up and get it yanked out of here. Just like I suspected, the motor mount on the passenger side was completely torn away. So anyways, let's finish getting this thing out of here. All right, so I got the engine and transmission all pulled out, and as you can see, I got one heck of a mess to clean up in here. All the road grime and oil and grease and everything from over the years. So anyway, I'm gonna come in here and scrape off all the excess grime that's on that cross member there, and then I'm going to come in and get it all pressure washed up. So, all right, let's get this thing cleaned up. All right, so we got the engine bay all pressure washed up and it came out pretty good. I need to let that dry so that I can actually paint it. So while that's drying, I can come in here now and remove the AC box, the wiper motor, and the brake booster and stuff to get them off. I didn't want to take them off beforehand and have the firewall be open and get all blasted with water in there. So let's come in here and get the firewall cleaned up so we can get that all cleaned up and sanded down as well so it can be shot with paint as well. All right, so I got the AC box off of there and the wiper motor. I'm going to actually leave the brake booster on because there's plenty of room to get in around it for roughing it up and cleaning up the firewall and stuff. So I didn't get quite as far as I wanted in this episode. I was really hoping to be able to get the entire engine bay and firewall and the frame and all that stuff all cleaned up, get it dry, get it roughed up and shot with some paint. But I didn't quite make it that far. This video is going to drop tomorrow, so I don't have time to do all that and still edit the rest of this video so it can get uploaded so you guys see it tomorrow. So tune in for the next one. I'm going to be getting the engine bay all cleaned up like I just said. The new wheel wells and stuff should be here, and the new radiator core support, all that stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys like this one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this one with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it.